You ever have a day where just like you wake up late, you're in a rush, people on your phone fighting, things unraveling, you cry in the shower before noon, and now you're expected to go out and film, or basically do 2 podcasts and an appearance like all in a row, and then realize you're like double booked for an online interview you were supposed to do, and you realize you have like an assistant to handle these things that you still don't communicate that you need help scheduling. Because if so, I mean, I've had a similar day. Running extremely late to event. I literally cannot, this like interview, I literally can't be late to this, and I fucking am, because literally one of the worst days like in a while, just, oh my god. But basically this is the outfit, very melancholy fit check, because I don't have the time, energy to do an outfit that I haven't worn before. This is like a very classic Maren outfit as well. I haven't worn it in months. But I'm gonna wear this jacket with this, hopefully have a better day. I'm literally gonna like fucking cry on the way to just do all my things today. It's just the kind of day it is. So this is the jacket that I'm wearing with this because it goes alongside it. I'm here for it. And then I'm gonna wear my huge red coat with it and just be like a red marshmallow. So we just filmed a podcast in the sauna. I of course didn't sweat because I'm a reptile, but like this is next. If any of you remember my Dubai vlogs from like a year and a half ago when I tried to do this and like I went into shock and just started like flailing and they ripped me out. Maybe I didn't record it. I think my swimsuit fell off or something. We're gonna attempt this again.
Very back corner. Yeah, and so when we do end, we're only gonna film this once.
Okay, that's fine.
So we're gonna try to get it, and like I said, if you don't feel good, you get out. All of it's the drama, so.
Understood, we're good at that.
It's cold here. In Miami, it's just like, feels good.
There's huge dopaminergic positive effects, but I'm just like, I have enough dopamine already. Like, we're good.
Okay, now we're gonna do a 3-minute cold plunge with the Edge Theory Labs cold plunge. All right, you ready for this?
No, but wait, that's
all right.
Never.
I'm never ready either. Let's do it. I think it's like 45 degrees in here.
Oh my god.
All right, 3, 1.
Yeah, there's no lower. I cannot feel my legs.
Man, I wish that sauna would have been hotter now, for sure. Do you do cold therapy?
No, I don't.
No?
I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to that. Like, there's some things that I'm like a really like hard ass on, but when it's like sensory things, I have a very low tolerance. Or I think I'm very sensitive, because I can endure tattoos, things like that. When it comes to like this sort of thing, you know, it's getting easier. It's getting a little bit easier.
Right?
A little bit. Not dying.
How did you get through the pain of all your tattoos?
It's not bad. It's
Okay.
truly not bad. I like to describe it as a cat. It's a cat scratching over a burn. So the only intense one was the top of my foot, because there's no fat muscle, anything there. So the top of the foot you feel like in your vein. Also on fingers, this is on bone. But like everywhere else, it's a very dull numb that will go away after a few minutes, because like painkiller kicks in from your own body. So I do not mind tattoos at all.
Got it. Maybe I'll have to go get a tattoo after this then.
If you feel like one, I have a great artist for you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, my artist. I really only go to him, so. Minus this one and this one, which were done by a tattoo artist friend in rural Greece at like a week-long bender. It was insane, but yeah.
Oh boy, that sounds like a fun story.
Literally insane. I was chased by wild horses during a photo shoot. It was just crazy, absolutely crazy. And I got adrenaline tattooed on the back of my ear, and I have these tattoos, and I got the red one done in Greece, so yeah.
Okay, now I really feel like I haven't lived.
I got this when I was 17, so I could do this, and then I just got the second one like in May, so yeah. Can say I have teardrops. Tried to go to a Christmas bar, but it was all full. There's like a Christmas bar on night. So instead we ended up just like right by my old apartment, and I had not been back in East Village in like 6 months since I moved out. I just never make it down here. I have focus on to where it literally only recognizes me. It never recognizes other people. The camera's narcissistic too. I think. There. But yeah. It is so fucking cold out in New York today. It's literally like below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm sitting in front of my space heater trying to cool down, or warm up, sorry, trying to warm up. Why is it that Ubers never have AC or heat on? Sometimes AC but never heat. Do they think that, like, does that use up car? Like, is that going to cost them money? From what I understand, AC and heat don't add any, if at all, a substantial cost. But I'm wondering why Ubers never have heat on specifically, or usually cooling, because I mean, I'm not gonna ask them because I don't want to seem like I am ungrateful or anything, because I try to be really, really kind to anyone in the service industry. But I just do wonder, like, why do these cars never have heat on and the drivers themselves are like bundled up as fuck, also freezing their asses off? I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, I have 2 packages that came in. The first is this duvet. This is a blood splatter picture that I blew up all over a duvet to like use, or it's a sheet set. It's a comforter, or no, it's just a duvet. This looks like shit. This looks so bad in my opinion. Like, this does not look like blood. I think on the video it looks better than it does in real life. It just looks really weird because it's like all blown up. I'm still gonna try it and put it on my bed in a second, like before I go to bed. I don't wanna do it right now. The pillowcase looks a little bit better. I might just rather do it myself with, this actually looks fine. On camera at least it looks fine. In person it looks very pixelated, but I don't really care. I kinda like pixelated. Anyway, I'm gonna put that on my bed tonight and then show it. I also have another Dolls Kill package because it didn't all fit in my last one, and I forgot to pick this up from downstairs. The people in my building are so nice. They like draw on the boxes. Maybe they're bored or something, but like they're all so sweet. All the people in my building are so nice. Did they draw a devil on here? A Baphomet? That's kind of funny. Oh well, whatever. I'm not gonna show my unit number, but they draw that in like really cool letters as well. So I'm actually going to talk about Mars signs, because not because I particularly was like, oh, this is relevant right now, but because I talk so much about Venus signs, people are asking about Mars signs. I'm once again using my Amex to cut this because I don't have my keys on me. They're at the, do I have keys on me in here? No, this is the best course of action to use a platinum card to open boxes. Anyway, Mars sign is how you get shit done. How you get shit done. So, like I always say, the actual predictions for life events come from the rulers of the houses in your chart. You can predict the archetype of your behavior in certain ways from understanding the signs that your planets are in. So, Venus sign is your love language. It's what you want to attract in, how you want to be loved, appreciated, supported, etc. Mars sign is how you solve problems, get shit done, and put effort into things. It's a much more masculine energy, obviously. It's very assertive, just by definition. And like Mars is Mars. Mars is how you get shit done. How it differs from the sun, even though the sun is a masculine sign, is the sun is your ego and how you want to be creative or be like a visionary or a leader in the world. Mars sign is like, okay, when there's a literal problem at your feet, how do you solve that, and how do you... Jesus Christ, this is like triple tape. Oh, there we go. Okay, this works. All good. Mars sign describes the way that you accomplish tasks, the way that you work through issues. So I'm going to run through those signs now, and then also explain some of the clothes that I got, because yeah, these are all the clothes. Yesterday was like the accessories that I got. I think we'll do a little bit of a try-on haul at the same time. So I'll start out with Aries Mars, because why not just get it out of the way. Aries Mars is, first of all, Aries is the home sign of Mars. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So Aries Mars is impulsive, courageous. They are the immediate firefighter, like respond to the scene type person. It is Mars in its home sign, which means it's very dignified and very positive. So this is a strong thing for Mars to be in its home sign. People ask me, should the challenging planets like Mars or Saturn, do you want them strong or do you want them weak? You want them strong because you want those abilities to actually work through problems to be very strong, rather than weak and showing that there's ongoing issues in that area of your life. So it might seem like a paradox, but you actually want the strongest planets in your chart. You want every planet to be strong, whether it is challenging, positive, but Mars in Aries is direct. It is very immediate with the way that it acts, and it is both impulsive and courageous. I use that phrase to describe Aries a lot, where it's like you are both gonna knock shit over because you're mad, but you're also gonna be the first person to respond to a call for help. Mars in Aries is incredibly good at being courageous and being heroic. Like the hero in the movie, he just acts without thinking, who lifts, but the mom who lifts like cars off of her baby, like that kind of superhuman thing, that is Mars in Aries. It is direct, it is fast-paced, and it is going to be the first person to both raise their hand and to like solve the problem at hand. Okay, this is the first thing that I have, and it's actually like adorable. My sock is falling off. I always wear socks, it's cold in here. I'm obsessed with this. This is like a little gown thing. It's formal, but I wanted something formal because mature Maren does not only wear mini skirts. I used to wear mini skirts only because I thought, you know, like it makes me look short if I wear anything long, but like it doesn't really. I'm just really here for this. This is pretty. This with like a good dark red heel. Fire. Anyway, I feel like this is a very Taurus Mars outfit. So Taurus Mars is slow and steady. That's like the number one way I would describe it. Mars is in its exile in Taurus because it rules the opposite sign of Scorpio, so it's like in a foreign country or in a paradoxical position when it's in Taurus. Mars in an earth sign is always slower and steadier, and in Taurus it's extremely slow and steady. So Mars in Taurus gets things done by like tried, true, long-term, little bit at a time. If you're a Mars in Taurus person, you are not like immediately taking action. You're like, let's do a little bit at a time. Let's work for 30 minutes a day. Let's do this in intervals and chunks. Do not fucking rush a Mars in Taurus person ever. They are taking their goddamn time, and they will do it probably better than you when they commit to things. So Mars in Taurus is incredibly good at committing to things over a long period of time. They're not going to work very quickly. Jesus Christ, this is like really hot when you're very close to it. They're not going to work very quickly or dramatically, but Mars in Taurus is incredibly dependable. They can sometimes, I don't think that they're necessarily lazy at all, but they can have a harder time getting started. Once they start something, they're committed to it, but starting things is more of the challenging thing for Mars and Taurus. They like getting up off their ass initially can be the challenging thing. I bought this makeup bag because I needed a makeup bag that was more efficient. I have a bag I use for makeup, but it's just one big pot and it's like not really that efficient. So this looked like it exemplified everything I needed. It hangs, and so you have this like hanging in a bathroom. This is very convenient. And also, yeah, so this vibes. This alternatively feels like a very Gemini Mars outfit actually. It's very like, it's very flippy. This just feels like a very Gemini outfit. Again, I can't see the camera, so I don't even know if I'm in frame. This needs to be tighter. I'll like tighten the corset, but I would like wear this out. I would completely wear this out. This with like fishnets. Oh look, this is a costume. I don't know what it's a costume for, but apparently this is a costume. Anyway, Gemini Mars is very fast-paced, very conversational, and likes to think things out. So Gemini Mars solves problems by word vomiting and brainstorming all the possibilities, and then letting usually other people decide on which one to go with. Like Gemini Mars is great at spitballing all the different options, not actually with like executing the literal hard work. So Gemini Mars is great for like, okay, in your philosophy class, like how do you solve the trolley problem? Bitch, if they actually had to do anything, they would just like scamper off and be like ghosting the issue. But Gemini Mars in particular is great for like logically solving problems, great for intellectualizing problems. In fact, like if you want someone who's just good at making their problems a mental, it's a puzzle. Like Gemini Mars views mental things to work, views world problems as mental puzzles, and often wants to debate, banter, or bounce ideas off of people in order to come to a better conclusion. Mars in Gemini is not actually that argumentative. They just actually like debating and discussing things. Okay, ignore the tags because I just don't have time to take these off right now. This is like a Christmas set. I literally just got this for a photo shoot because there's no way in hell, like this is not what I would wear. Like actually no, I would wear this around the house, just minus the socks. Like socks are just cute, whatever. Cancer Mars is fallen, meaning that Mars is exalted in the opposite sign of Capricorn. So in Cancer, it has an initial disadvantage or a challenge to work through. This is not bad. Do not come at me being like, no. You know, if you have this, like there's, the plus side of Cancer Mars is that you are taking action based on wanting to emotionally protect something. Cancer is a sign of emotional protection above all else. It's a water sign, but it's a cardinal sign, which is like leadership based on emotion. So having Mars in a water sign is already going to be acting more emotional. I'm putting the socks back on because now I'm cold while I explain this. But Cancer Mars in particular can be fallen because it's like emotional protection at all cost. And sometimes that can mean that you are fighting fights that are like not necessary and or holding on to things long term that you don't still need to be fighting about. The plus side is the protectiveness and knowing that when they're on your side, like they will fight to the death in order to protect you and keep you in their little hug circle. But the main thing is that they're not as much a spiritual warrior like Pisces is, which is another water sign. They're more of a protection warrior, and sometimes that can mean holding on to things that don't need to be held on to. And they can be kind of like Taurus Mars, a little bit slower and steadier, but overall, like their tendency is to always take action and solve issues by protecting what is emotionally valuable, and maybe by like being the person who is, I don't want to say like the crybaby, but you can be the one who's like, I'm gonna bring up the emotional hurt as part of the issue. You might think I'm giving it a more like serious delineation than the other ones, but anytime it's a challenging placement, it's just gonna be something that comes with a little more nuance like that. It's by no means a bad placement or anything like that, but it comes with the challenge of being like an emotional protector above all costs with the way that you go about solving problems. This is the final article of actual clothing I have. This is just this mini skirt. I'm not wearing it with like a top I would actually wear it with, but this is just I saw this and was like, you know, I would wear this. So that's the final thing. So this is the entirety of like me not hanging anything up yet, basically. I got these shoes too because these are on sale, and just another way that I would use up store credit that does make sense, because like I will wear all this shit. You guys know, like if I buy it, I fucking wear it. Or I can't resell on Depop because I was banned because I was locked out of my account, so I couldn't ship anything. Anyway, there's this like gingham swimsuit that seemed obvious. I had not gotten a new swimsuit in probably a year. And then these gloves, and this is, so it's a bodysuit, gloves, and also leggings, tights that go over it. Like it's basically a full body set that this would look really cute underneath like a black dress, you know what I mean? Like with the rhinestones, the gloves, the tights, this would look incredible over like a fitted black dress. I don't believe there's anything else. I believe this is it, but like this is what I'm a little concerned about this bedding. We'll figure it out though. We'll put it on and see. Okay, moving on to Leo Mars while I take off my makeup now because it's just time to like get cozy because it's been a long day. It's been such a long day. Like, oh my God, such a long day. Anyway, Leo Mars works through problems by being entertaining and dramatic. So Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is the center of attention. So when you think of Leo Mars, like they work through their problems by basically putting on a movie or a show of some kind. I swear to God, you can be like the most humble person in the world. You can have all the planets in Virgo or Cancer that you want, and then have a Leo Mars, and like anytime there's a problem, it's about like you. Which is not always a bad thing, because it also means that Leo Mars tends to solve problems very entertainingly. Like no problem in their life is too serious to, like every problem comes with a little bit of fun or a little bit of enjoying the dilemma. So Leo Mars, I can be like particularly, I don't want to say addicted to sadness, but like romanticizing the struggle, because they're like, if it's in my life, then it must be romanticized. The plus side can be that they usually have a very optimistic view of problems, because they're like, well, we'll get out of this. Like there's a lightheartedness to Leo. The downside can be that the problem is never solved because they want the attention and they want that saga. Basically, they want the saga. They want Twilight. They're not going to solve the toxic relationship, etc. They're probably not someone that you want on your side if you want a problem solved really quickly. I say this as a Leo Mars. Like often, if there's a really big issue that's not super linear in my life, I'll just throw my hands up and be like, how do we just make this an entertaining learning experience? And other people are like, what the fuck? So it's not the most efficient problem-solving placement, but it's a very entertaining, very generous problem-solving placement. Like Leo is a very generous sign. Even though it's a lot of me, it also wants to give back and like put others on a pedestal too. So Leo Mars is very gracious with problem-solving, and usually is great at making sure that everything is up to, like it's going to look perfect. Like they're not going to solve a problem and leave things looking shitty. But it's not the most efficient or root problem solver. Now, Virgo Mars, on the other hand, definitely is an incredible root problem solver, because Virgo is very meticulous, and Mars, like I said, is the way that you get shit done, the way that you solve your issues. So with Virgo being a very detail-oriented, very meticulous, very precise sign, Virgo Mars is like down to the wire level problem solving. I often think of Virgo Mars as a hairdresser or a stylist, or someone that is like using a knife or scissors in a way that is really, really precise and really important, not necessarily for violent reasons, but like aesthetic or just very specific reasons. So Virgo Mars is going to solve problems very meticulously, very specifically, and very, very steadily. They work faster than the other Mars signs, in my opinion, but Earth Mars is still not going to be fast. Like, they're going to be, I'd say that Virgo Mars is nifty and resourceful, but they're not, you cannot rush them. Do not rush an Earth sign Mars, period. Just don't do it. Also, Virgo Mars can be more prone to working things out mentally and then getting others to actually take the action. I find that Virgo Mars, I don't want to say, like, no Earth sign Mars is lazy at all, but they don't want to move. They want something else to be done in the place. So like Taurus Mars, it usually takes them a ton to get up and move. Virgo Mars, they're usually going to delegate. They're going to be like, this is the problem, now you have to go solve it. But overall, extremely efficient, extremely thoughtful problem solvers. And like, I love a good Virgo Mars, not because my Mars sign necessarily gets along with them. Like, my Leo Mars is much more like, fuck this, let's just enjoy the drama, relish in the thing to talk about, like whatever. For once, I'm having to use eye makeup remover because this eyelash glue is sticking to my eyelid. I never have to use this, but Glamnetics sent me a bunch of PR. Actually, thank you. Whenever I get makeup PR, it fucking makes my day, because I'm not a beauty guru YouTuber, obviously, but I grew up watching that shit, and seeing people get PR packages made my fucking day. So, anyway, moving on to Libra Mars. Libra Mars is also in its antithesis, so just like Taurus Mars, Libra Mars is opposite to one of the signs that it rules. It's opposite to Aries, so it's in a foreign country, or it's in a unique paradoxical position. And it's particularly paradoxical because Mars is about, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, I see. Mars is about taking action, and Libra is about preventing conflict. So it's like, how do I take action to minimize conflict? Or take out a knife now to cut off and amputate the arm that'll lead to a bigger issue later. So it is often a sign of people who do not want to deal with aggression directly. It's not like a bad thing whatsoever, but they can definitely be more passive or passive aggressive and be like, yo, I want to solve problems by, like, judicially. So there's definitely a tendency to not fight head on, and more to be like, how do we resolve what is an ongoing issue by bringing peace? Definitely fighting for peace is a big theme of Libra Mars. I often find that Libra Mars is taken towards solving problems. Like, they like to solve problems. They're not a sign that is staying away from it, but that they tend to want to bring social harmony or reduce conflict with their actions, rather than like address an underlying issue. They're like, let me just stop the violence, or like stop the fighting on the surface, which is fine, obviously. It's not, anything that like Libra Mars has its place, but it definitely is like, here now, how do I reduce conflict in the way that it's looking on the surface, because I cannot have conflict in my area. Honestly, any major Libra placement, like myself included, is a Libra moon. Anytime there's just a ton of conflict, it's like, fucking make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. I don't care if you all hate each other, but make it stop, make it stop. Like, there's this huge compulsion to just wanting things to not escalate. Like, can we please not escalate? Just today, there was like fighting, basically, in just like a company sense, and oh my god, seeing people fighting just brings me so much discomfort, so much. And I have friends that are more passive overall than me, but that don't have Libra placements, and they don't feel this way around fighting. Just whenever I see fighting, it's like, please make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. I shut down so easily around conflict. Anyway, now we move on to Scorpio Mars, which is the other home sign of Mars, which means that it's very strong, very comfortable, and very resourceful. Scorpio Mars is not going to strike first. They're not going to jump up like Aries Mars, the other home sign. They're not going to fucking cause a scene. What they're going to do is they're going to like be the most precise sniper and most precise, like, direct source of action for any problem. They're the most efficient, like, diligent. Actually, I would say there's a difference between Virgo and Scorpio Mars, where like Scorpio Mars is more about when they're emotionally when there's an emotional issue, Scorpio Mars steps into like defend or protect. With Virgo Mars, it's more about like a day-to-day logistical issue, because if there's an emotional issue, usually Virgo Mars doesn't really give a shit. They're just gonna like cut that out of their life. They're not gonna deal with it. Versus Scorpio Mars is much more to actually resonate with emotional issues and cause issues in their life when they feel like they've been emotionally wronged. The stinger of a like emotionally distraught Scorpio Mars can be insanely specific. They know how to hit. They know where to hit so that it'll hurt. They are not going to be belligerent. So that's important, that like Scorpio is not like Aries where they can go on a rampage. Scorpio is going to be really, really specific. Now for Sagittarius Mars, this is fun. This is like solving problems through having fun and through exploration. So if like a Sagittarius Mars does not know what to do and they're like, there's a problem, what do I do? Usually they'll like be like, oh, I need some fresh air. I need to go in a different environment. I need to experience something new to awaken myself. So it's often about an experience that they feel, I know I'm out of frame, it's often about going into an experience that they feel will provide a new perspective, or having a very, very optimistic, lighthearted view of let's just keep going, persevere, and run through the blockages. Like Sagittarius Mars does not know blockage. They're not intentionally idealistic with rose-colored glasses like Pisces can be, but being ruled by Jupiter does add this going after goals in a way that's kind of unstoppable. So Sagittarius Mars is just gonna fucking ram through blockages. They're gonna send a million DMs. They're gonna contact you on every platform. They're going to get it done. They just might be escorted out by security. So that's the Sagittarius Mars method. Very lighthearted, very ongoing perseverance, but just because they have such a faith in what they're doing, and that like they don't even see the blockages. They're just like ramming through it. You know, they just see their goal and they go after that. Now Capricorn Mars is the exaltation sign of Mars, meaning that it is like royally lifted up, it is respected, it is revered, it does very, very well there. Capricorn is a sign of climbing the ladder, climbing the mountain, going step by step. So Mars there is a great combination of the two, because Mars is like action, aggression, problem solving, and with it in such a methodical, such linear, like step-by-step sign, it helps temper Mars's heat or impulsivity, and it helps use Capricorn traits for utmost good, which is when they're working towards solving problems in their immediate vicinity or like analyzing threats. So Capricorn Mars is very calculated, very tactile, very strategic, and very good at looking at the moving pieces of something to form an entire chess game. They are masters of chess. Basically there's someone in my life who's a Capricorn Mars that is one of like the strategic masterminds behind a lot of my recent decisions in a way regarding like career and branding and whatever. And I'm so grateful for it, because my Leo Mars is just like, please just put me in front of the camera, give me like makeup, I will be fun, yay. Like that was a realization I made recently, where among everything else, I am an entertainer and I want to make people smile and like give them something to make their day. There are other things about me where like it's, I don't know, I'm serious, I am, you know, driven, but like at my core, even beyond that, I want to make people happy and be creative and entertaining. So my Capricorn Mars friends are definitely more the strategic people. Like I just had a talk today with people and we're talking about social media monetization. I don't give a shit. Like I literally can't even bother to trade crypto anymore, because I would just rather make substantially less money and make more videos and do shit that's like fun. I don't care. I literally don't care about numbers, views, whatever. I mean, as a Virgo, you're always going to pay attention to it in a little bit of a game of like, oh, let me improve. But I just cannot be bothered to do anything anymore that's not fun. And I feel like a Capricorn Mars would play more into strategy than I do, because I do not have a strategy behind branding or social media or whatever, at least not on the surface. I just do whatever the fuck is fun. And yeah. And then Aquarius Mars is a very group-oriented, let me act on behalf of everyone type of problem solver. So Aquarius Mars tends to think about large problems and not see the details. So Virgo Mars, on the flip side, can see the details very strongly. Aquarius Mars is going to look at big picture and often, you know, miss the details. They're going to take actions to plan for the future in a way that architects and supports more positive growth and less issues. So often, instead of thinking about like, let me address this one issue, they're really good at thinking about an overall system and what will work in order to like re-architect the entirety of that system. They can see problems in a lot of things, but often they view them more as like, they're the classic like, oh, this is a systemic issue. Like that's definitely a very Aquarius statement, because it's not in isolation, and Aquariuses are thinking about the idealism of the future in order to improve it. Similar to Capricorn Mars, they're very good at step-by-step strategic problem solving, because they're both ruled by Saturn. Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn, which is very serious. But they're a little bit more positive or into the future than Capricorn Mars. Capricorn Mars is more defense-oriented around like, how do we defend and protect? Aquarius Mars is more less risk-averse and more willing to kind of like in an Aries Mars way, just fucking go up and do it, but they're a little more calculated with that as well. And then Pisces Mars, just conveniently as I'm finishing my skincare, Pisces Mars is by really the spiritual warrior. Like I would say by Pisces Mars in the encyclopedia, it shows, you know, like spiritual warrior. Mars is warrior, Pisces is mutable water, which is like the infinite spreading, the growth. And having those two together means that they might not be the most direct or the most aggressive with their actions, but often they're very accommodating, very thoughtful, and very kind with how they're solving problems. And they can think about things in a very emotional sense of like, I'm doing this for this higher purpose. I feel spiritually aligned when I solve these problems. They're not going to be the problem solver that is loud or aggressive. They can be random though. Like Pisces Mars can just be random. Like they can go out and do shit and you're like, what the fuck? They're like, I felt like I needed to do it. So they can be a little bit inconsistent with how they express their energy. But Pisces Mars is the spiritual warrior. They can be overly accommodating for others. Similar to Libra Mars, they can suffer from indecision because they feel so many different options. They're not quite like Cancer Mars where it can pose a direct issue the way that they are involving emotions, but they're usually a very like spiritual warrior, and I keep saying that, but if it sticks, it sticks. I don't mind being cliche if it's relevant. So I hope that this helps describe Mars signs. I'm gonna get off to bed. It's been a long as fuck day like I said, but I will see you in the next one.